How to ride in the powder, the trees, the moguls, and the steeps. Turning on a groomed run is easy. But why is turning in the powder or an ungroomed terrain so difficult? Let's forget about terrain for now, but focus on our turning skills. Do you know which phase in a turn is the most difficult to control and makes turning uncomfortable? It's at the beginning. While a snowboard has an edge angle, we can use this edge as a base of support. In the beginning phase, the snowboard becomes flat while changing edges. For example, heel edge to flat, flat to toe edge, and toe edge to flat, flat to heel edge. We can't get a solid base of support with a flat base on the hill. For example, beginner snowboarders start edging in the middle of the turn. So half of their turn is unstable, but it's still fine on the gentle slopes. Intermediate snowboarders start edging somewhere between the beginning and the middle of the turn. So their turns are more stable, but only on groomed terrain. Advanced riders try to eliminate this flat phase. They change sides directly to the other side at the beginning of their turn. So they always have a solid base. Now you have learned that if your turning skills increase, the amount of time spent on the flat phase between turns will be decreased. Powder, trees, moguls, and steeps. They all require the rider to make quick edge changes due to unstable riding conditions. This is what we can focus on to improve riding in the beginning phase, and why advanced riders are strong on varied terrain conditions. Now, let's find out how we can reduce the flat phase. Here's a question. Which of these do you think is better in the beginning of the turns to change edges? Standing tall or low? We want to reduce the flat phase as much as possible because we are unstable while being in this state. So changing edges should be done quicker. To change edges, our head and hips move from one side to the other side. Now, once again, which of these do you think is better in the beginning of the turns to change edges? Standing tall or low? Obviously, standing low is quicker than standing tall to change edges due to the moving distance of your head and hips, right? Also, standing low to change edges makes it much easier to manage your balance while moving your head and hips. So now you understand that we should be standing low in the beginning of the turns to change edges quicker and to maintain balance. Most of my students were not familiar with getting low while turning because they learned to stand tall while changing edges, which is effective only on the groomed terrain due to the reason I've already mentioned. So, if you wish to improve your riding on any ungroomed terrain, riding with a lower position is the first skill to learn. However, for riders who haven't ridden with a lower position, it's not easy to do so. But here are some exercises to get used to it. 1. Try touching the ground with your front hand. When you are finishing your heel side turn, try touching the ground with your front hand on the toe side to change the edge. When you are finishing your toe side turn, try touching the ground with your heel side to change the edge. And try to keep your hips at the center of the board and on the back leg, so you can prevent the tail of your board from sliding caused by pressing too much on the front leg. Since this is just a practice to get used to changing edges while being in a low position, please don't worry about your posture while riding. 2. Visualize riding under a low ceiling. Picture in your head a low ceiling that is above the slope and by your hip level. You can try to avoid hitting your head on the ceiling and make turns while under this ceiling. Remember, these exercises are to learn how to change edges with a lower position. So, even if you are riding with a low position while turning, but then stand up when you are changing edges, you will not learn what you want here. After you get used to riding with a low position, the next step to developing your riding on ungroomed terrain will be downward unweighting. With this skill, you will change edges while being in a low position, so you will be able to change edges quicker too. Downward unweighting is also one of the skills used to manage pressure while riding. With this skill, your legs are extended from the middle to the end of the turn. Riders can maximize board performance with the internal and external force. The internal force is created by pushing your legs out from the middle to the end of the turn. And the external force is the centrifugal force which we can feel while on a swing, and it's increased from the middle to the end of the turn. You can combine these two forces to maximize board performance. This is how downward unweighting works while riding. Now, let's learn how to move while turning with downward unweighting. Start turning from a lower position. Extend your legs gradually to the end of the turn. Right after finishing your turn, become small with your legs tucked up under your hips and change edges, and just repeat the same motion for the other side turn. This move is also complicated for riders who haven't done it before, but you can start learning this move from any easy exercise. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and feel free to leave your comments below. Learn the world's best scientific coaching method based on coaching national level athletes. Watch all our tutorials by subscribing to the online training program from our website. Snowboard Dojo Wiz, your snowboard coach from Canada.